Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new year. Hopefully, we have some people join us. I'm getting mine pulled up right now so I can also see. Forget the bubblegum. It's one of those days. If you don't know, welcome to Cat Toy Lady. That's me. Um, it is a new year, new video. I had to think a lot, forgive me as I look away, um, about what I wanted to do for the very first episode, what I wanted to talk to you about. Let's make sure the volume's all the way down. There we go. That way I can see the chat and be able to talk with you all. So, this year, of course, is 2022 now. Oh my goodness, it's actually the second. Um, it's it's a new start, I feel like, for so many people. The last couple years have been rather crappy. Uh, it is what it is. But I'm very optimistic of this year. There's a lot of good things on the horizon for many people that I know. New jobs, new situations, hopefully for us, a new house. So I'm wanting to share what one of my personal goals is. Yes, I am the cat toy lady, but that doesn't mean I'm the perfect cat parent. So that is kind of one of my goals this year. Um, It's just to be a better cat parent. And there's two things for that one that I want to share with you. The first, of course, is playtime. There's so many medical journals out there. And again, I'm a registered vet tech if you don't know, but there's lots of different things out there in the veterinary field that talk about how important play is and hunting. And it does things like it keeps away dementia. So kitty Alzheimer's, essentially dementia, doesn't come on so easily with cats being indoor in basically a jail. They don't get to go outside, they don't get to get that fresh air easily. So it's important for us to give them more opportunities to use their brain, use their nose for sniffing, that type of thing. So that's what the next, I think, couple weeks is going to be, is more enrichment of things that you can do to help with keeping away dementia. um, so yes, my goal as a pet parent is to have 5 minutes of play per cat per day. Granted, I have a scaredy cat that lives under the bed that only goes out on our little catio that comes off our bedroom window. Um, he goes from under the bed to the bathroom to eat to the litter box back into the catio. Those are his four spots. He rarely leaves the bedroom. When he does, it's for morning breakfast when my husband is not yet awake and I am feeding, or late at night when my husband's already in bed and I'm feeding. I do try to make it a point to feed when he's going to be able to come out and have some food. That'll be my second thing I'll talk about for my resolution, is food related. But hi, Jax. Thank you for chatting with me and welcome to the new year. So yeah, my goal, and I really feel that it really should be every pet parent, is to enrich their pet's lives, cat or dog or ferret or whatever, and give them at least 5 minutes a day of just attention for them. Uh, in my house, Ellie Mae now kind of dominates most cat toys. So I will probably put her in the bathroom with the food bowl and make her happy. Um, and her water fountain, if you know her in the water fountain, or you've seen the Pet NF water fountain. Oh my goodness, that is her happy place. You put the faucet on and the water comes down, very happy. But I want to be able to play individually with each of the pets for 5 minutes. So many of us have this habit of giving their pets toys that they self-play, where we don't have to interact. And yes, that's good, but they need that interaction with us. And they need, especially for cats, they need to hunt, they need to use their brain. It's just, it helps with so many different medical issues, stiff joints and weight loss. If you've ever had a cat with cystitis, the only true thing that helps cystitis, besides the rare medication that might not always help very much, is play. 5 minutes of play twice a day. is what's recommended in a lot of the studies for cystitis. And that's inflammation of the bladder. There's not a true cure for it. Playtime is the closest they've come in studies. So, again, playtime is just really, really important for them. And so that is what my pet parent goal is. I'm down to only cats, so really my cat babies. That's my goal for the new year, is to be a more involved uh, playtime person. It's just they play with themselves, they play with each other, but I need to be interacting with them more. So that is my goal for the new year. Hopefully, it goes better than weight loss for many of us. And again, that's my constant battle. Again, if you've been around for a long time on my channel, I battle a lot of medical issues, a lot of medications that cause weight gain, along with the diseases themselves causing weight gain. So I'm just going to be fluffy. I'm used to it. It's, I am who I am. Um, so yes, and hello, free spirit. Thanks for joining me again. It's been a couple of days, weeks. Mm, I think I saw you in the last of my husband's lives last 2 Sundays ago, because we took the one last week off. But tonight, I believe there is. If those of you that do not know, my husband is exploring with Nug. He and Adam Brown Adventures have started a new live. It's called Deep Talks, and I'm kind of like the producer behind the scenes, keeping things going, since they're in two different locations. So yeah, so it's kind of the three of us doing a live about just random topics, not necessarily they're diving, or pulling cars out or people out, just parts of people. If you know my husband, he's found some very, very old cars that have some very, very old remnants of people in them. Um, so yeah, a little gross, but off topic, I know. That's what I'm good at. But yes, so Deep Talks, check it out. Um, so yeah, and who else is in here? Hello, Miss Sandra. Thank you for joining me. Um, yeah, I do put up with all the fur babies. We have 5 kitties. Um, Unfortunately, the last 3 months, I'd say. It's been about 3 months ago, we lost our husky. She had a brain tumor, which made her go nuts. It was not a fun ending. And then the right before Thanksgiving, we lost our big girl, our 75-pound golden, uh, we think shepherd mix. We know mom was a golden for sure, but based on coloring and markings, I'd say shepherd and tail. Oh my gosh. She had quite the tail. So, yeah, she had a sarcoma, not osteo, sorry, that's bone, hemangiosarcoma. So basically these growths that were on her spleen that ended up going other places, like her booty. It was not, again, a fun ending to the end. Um, yeah, it was underneath her tail and particular areas too. But yeah, so we lost both our dogs. They were 14, almost 15. I mean, but so we are a cat only household. I think we shall stay that way. Um, I mean, really, I'm the cat toy lady. We know I lean towards cats. It's not a crazy thought. Um, but yes, wasted air. Thank you, Free Spirit, for mentioning it in here. Yes, getting the fur babies more active. That is a goal that we all need to have. I think it's very rare that we play with our pets enough, just because life happens. And even the best of intentions that people have, like let's say, well, Jackson Galaxy may be the only person that truly plays with their cat enough. But I'm like, I wonder who I could use as an example, because we know he is a very busy man, but he is all about cat enrichment. But I would probably beg or guess to say that there are days, because he travels, that his cats have to play with themselves. They don't have someone to play with them. The pet sitter may come in, but they may not get that same enrichment that they would with someone that they're bonded to. So I would guess basically we all fall short. Maybe Taylor Swift because she dresses them up and does stuff with them, but she has the time. And I believe she actually travels with her cat some of the time. But kind of new here. Oh, Miss Ginger says she's kind of new here, but enjoying the channel. Thank you. Um, she has 2 cats and a foster boy. Is it going to be a foster failure? Kind of like our Ellie. um, or the one that lives under the bed was also a foster failure. Um, yeah, so boy who was thrown away after 10 years in one house. Oh, it breaks my heart that people that have been with a cat for so long have to say goodbye for various reasons. I've seen where they just financially can't do it, or they're moving to a house where they, like a rental, that they can't have pets. Children that are deathly allergic, it turns out, to cats. You know, it's not always that they're jerks and getting rid of their cats, which sometimes it is. Um, but, you know, it is hard when pets that are older have to go to new homes. So thank you for taking in that baby and fostering him. Maybe he'll be a foster failure, maybe he won't. We'll see. I'd love to know. Let's see. Kim E. So active is exhausting your baby, huh? He doesn't want to play with enrichment toys, just you. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine that's a bit much. Maybe you can get like a iFetch. They're made for dogs, but I've seen some videos of cats using them. You do have to be careful because tennis balls and the fuzz isn't good for their teeth. There's different thoughts on that. But, you know, maybe something that feels like you're interacting, but not. Ooh. So part of the enrichment that I'm going to be doing for the next couple videos is easy things to do that your cats can get out that need to kill something. So maybe that's kind of the line that you need to take, is some products that they can purposely destroy. I've had a few tissue paper ones in the past that are great for that need to kill, or just even throwing a tissue paper, wrapping paper, anything like that in a box and putting treats underneath where they have to use their nose to sniff through underneath. Um, I don't recommend that one with kittens. Kittens get a little confused and think it's a litter box. Sometimes some adult cats can do that too, but I've noticed it mainly when I had like fosters. Um, so maybe that will be a good alternative without having to be the one to constantly be playing with them. But of course, remember, treats are usually higher calorie, so you can use their food if you use a dry food instead of treats, just to make it a little bit more waste conscious. Uh, that's why Temptations taste so good, is they're full of really bad stuff. Kind of like McDonald's. But that is actually my second New Year's resolution for my cats. If you've been around, you know my big girl is 17 and a half pounds. Granted, she is built like a linebacker. She holds it well. She's a little fluffy, but she is just a very, very long, tall cat. Like, she is, I always compare her to like Andre the Giant of cats, just because she just dwarfs the rest of the cats in the house, just on pure size and a little bit of extra fluffiness. So my goal this year, um, as of, oh goodness, I guess about a year ago was when I lost my senior babies that I had had for 15 years. I Sorry, I just got a text message at the same time. Really got to turn that feature off. But I realized that I wasn't feeding them wet food because I had one cat that had esophageal issues, or it, long story short, we tried to scope her, figure out why she could not hold down anything but dry food. If you wet the dry food, if you gave her tuna, if you gave her steak pieces, no seasoning, chicken, you name it, if it was not her dry food, it came back up. Um, Even if it were the semi-soft treats instead of hard treats, they came back up. So 15 years of that. So I couldn't offer wet food just because it almost felt mean. that she would try to eat it and then she'd throw up every time. And um, I just don't have a lot of space for isolating for meal times and things like that in my little petite house I have. Um, so my goal is to feed wet food. I want to get my cats mainly eating wet food instead of dry food. They can have some dry for a few little crunchy pieces, but dry food is really high in carb. And if you ask your vet about cats that are exclusively wet only, they're not going to tell you that they see an obese cat amongst their cats that come in that are wet food only. Um, and it's good for their kidneys. Keeping a few little crunchies helps the teeth with getting the tartar off, but not having that as their main source of calories is much better for them. So for me, that is my goal, is more wet food. Having 5 cats, that's always fun, especially right now with cat food shortages, and that they're picky on their brands. So they like the shreds and only particular shreds. But yeah, so that is my second goal for my pets, is to feed them better food for them. Not that I feed Purina One, the dry. It's very good because it's really, really high protein for a basic over the counter. A lot of the boutique foods don't have studies behind them, so be very, very careful. The It's still kind of out on if grain free is okay for cats. It is not safe for dogs whatsoever. FDA has nailed that one down for sure. Grain free, bad for dogs. There's a heart condition that's associated with grain free foods. Um, but they still don't know. They suspect grain free might not be good for cats, but they're having a hard time nailing down exactly what's linked to it. So try to stay away from grain free. And if there's a grain allergy, maybe only eliminating that one grain. Grains are really rare though for allergies. Usually it's a protein like fish, chicken, beef, pork. Um, so like alternative proteins like rabbit and duck, venison, those are usually better if you think there is a food allergy. By the way, it's the vet tech speech. Um, so yeah, I want to barely give any dry food, and I want them to mainly get their calories from wet food. It's low carb, high protein. Um, Even junk wet foods are actually still pretty good. Um, but as a kind of a word of advice on pet foods, do make sure that they're doing food trials and they have a veterinarian, a food certified, like nutrition certified vet on staff, not just a regular vet, because that's doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about with food. You want a nutritionist that's veterinary based, and that they're doing food trials. That means they've given it to pets, they've done the scans and the different stuff to know that that food is safe and that they're growing at healthy rates and that they're not developing the same genetic, or not genetic, but issues. I believe it's taurine is one of the things that sometimes is missing from food that can cause a whole lot of stuff. But that really needs to be a separate topic of its own. Ooh, you have 11. Ooh, that's a lot of cuties. Don't worry, I know people that are in like, well, they're in the rescue group. So yeah, 11's nothing. But let's see. You call that a big girl? Yeah, 17 and a half pounds is a big girl. But so yeah, those are my two things, is to play more and to feed wet food instead of all dry food. Um, and so far I'm being pretty good about the wet food, morning and night. Occasionally I will feed Kitty, my little 16-year-old, an extra amount of wet food just because she looks at me so sad. And um, yeah, that is my goal. So do you guys have any goals for the year? I'd love to know in the comments below, if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're in the comment section right now, you're welcome to let me know. I am about to wrap this up. Some days I like to do really long lives. Other days, I came here for a purpose, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, you should come up with maybe New Year's resolutions for your pets that can help you too. It Playing with your pet is they've already proven that having that interaction with your pet is good for you. So there may be a study that says the opposite of that at some point. But I'm a firm believer that pets really do make your heart better, your body better. Um, yeah. And let's see if there's any more comments. Oh, there we go. Thank you for the advice on toys. Tips on getting cats into carriers. Ooh, I do that one a lot, being a vet tech. Um, I have some really good suggestions. So I will make a video on that because people battle their cats for no reason at all. I have some really good tricks for that one. Especially since I'm a mobile vet tech. I go into people's homes, I see what they're dealing with. Sometimes cats hide under beds, and when we come, then all of a sudden we can't get them out, and there's the vet tech having to climb underneath someone's bed, where sometimes there's inappropriate things hidden under the bed. More than once. Um, but having, even for mobile vets, having your cat somewhere where they can't hide if they're that type does help. And helping clients come up with ways to be able to get them into carriers is my specialty. So I will be making a video very soon about that. Um, I've already been thinking about trying to show you all how to towel wrap in general. People don't realize that for babies that get stressed out, towel wrapping them can help with the stress. So I think I'm going to do a video on towel wrapping too, just kind of walking through why some cats you want to leave their heads out, other cats you want to let them hide. It helps with nail trims, medication, things like that. Um, and oh, I saw one pop up, but it hasn't popped up on my other screen yet. Oh, how do you get a 50-pound kitty to move when they don't want to? You don't. Um, those are cats that you say, you move when you want to, honey, but I have some treats over here that might motivate you. um, how can I get my girl to eat wet food? Olive shakes her head and buries it. It might just be finding the right type of wet food. Or just moisten their dry food sometimes. Granted, that still has higher carbs, but it's things to get them used to the idea of moister food. They make these, oh, I wish I was upstairs, but these little treat pouches that look like the little kids yogurt pouches. Um, lickables, that's it. That can be kind of that bridge to get them interested. They're like kitty crack. That's what we use to distract cats at the vet that I work for. Um, So just finding the right food. Some cats like pate, mine don't. Other cats like shreds, some like more like tuna textured. It's just finding what works best. Some cats prefer just gravy stuff, and others hate gravy. Like I have one of each. So it's just finding what is best for them. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. And how is Charlie? Charlie is good. He's got a swollen jaw right now. His bottom lip sticks out. Um, he's not the most graceful. So from what we've figured, he impacted jumping off of something or trying to jump up and not making it, and bumped his chin. It's just a swollen area. It's not that there's a wound or anything associated with it, but he's got quite the pout at the moment. And we're taking him to a new doctor because I didn't like the way I was treated at the last doctor. The baby that I ended up having to deal with before I could make it to the specialist treated me like I couldn't read an ear cytology, where you look at it under the microscope, or that my vet that I work with can't read one either. And that she was mad that I sedated him, even though he gets very, very bad and I don't want him scared of vets. So it was a whole thing. I'd rather take him somewhere else where I was more comfortable. So the new vet is on the 11th, and she does ear polyp surgery and reconstructive surgery of the inner ear canal. So hopefully she will be the one. I hear a lot of good things about her in my little vet tech world. So we'll see. And including the kitty crack. Some babies like the cat that was also the same age as the one that vomited all the time, he just hated wet food. He was not a wet food cat. He didn't have it early on just because of his sister having issues. So you may just have that rare cat that just doesn't do wet food. It's unfortunate because if as they get older, the longer they live, the more moisture they do need because their body doesn't intake a lot of it from just drinking, just the way kidneys function. So as their kidneys start to slow down on function, the more moisture they need. So that's probably a kitty that as kidney function becomes worse, your vet may talk to you about doing fluids under the skin and stuff like that, if you make it to the kidney function part, because there's, of course, lots of diseases out there and different things that upset kitty bodies. Um, but typical rule of thumb is if they live long enough, they're going to get kidney issues. It's just, it's humans too. We do that too. And hello from Australia. Hello. Um, yeah, you're in summer now, I believe, in Australia. It's kind of summer here in Georgia, even though it's supposed to snow tonight. I have no idea what's going on with our weather. Last night we had severe storms and tornadoes roll through. It was 76 degrees yesterday, and then tonight it's snowing. It makes no sense here. But I think that's everyone's. How do you get cats to stop knocking things over? You don't. You carefully place things and you give them things they're allowed to knock over so they feel like they're triumphant in destroying something, and really it's not anything breakable. That's the best you can hope for. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone for joining me today. Let me know if you have other questions, other ideas for videos. That video on how to put a cat in a carrier will be coming out soon, I promise. So thank you again, everyone, and have a very happy new year.